Good evening. The word of the day is snapping turtle. One of the things I like about doing the word of the day is it helps me remember some things that I experienced growing up. And one of the things that I experienced with one of my grandfathers was trying to catch snapping turtles. Now, I know maybe some of you have watched some of these shows on TV, these so called reality shows where the guy goes out and catches a snapping turtle, walks around in the ponds, finds them, and catches them. We didn't do it that way. The way we caught snapping turtles, and by the way, my grandfather was going to eat them, they supposedly had 7 different kinds of meat in them that had 7 different flavors. I never did figure out all those flavors, but that's what they said. But anyway, we would go take a piece of bait, and we had a creek on our property that ran into a bigger stream at the back side of the property. And we would put the bait there in the small creek and stake it down. It helped if it was something that was bloody, and you let that blood run into the water and go down into the big creek. And then if there were any snapping turtles down the creek close enough, they would come up the creek to the bait. And you jump down in the creek to grab them. You had to be fast, though, because these snapping turtles, if they were in the water, they were pretty fast. And you had to be educated about how to catch them. Before you went to catch a snapping turtle, my grandfather spent a lot of time telling me, now look, you can't grab them by the head because they got jaws and they bite with them. And if they lock onto you, their jaws lock, and you either got to cut their jaws open or wait till it thunders so they'll let you go. But what you had to do was grab them by the tail and pick them up and hold them out far enough away from you they couldn't reach you with that snapping mouth, and just hang on. That's how you had to catch a snapping turtle the way we did it. And you had to be fast. My grandfather had already had a stroke and was partially paralyzed on one side. But if there was a turtle down there and he thought he was going to get to have some turtle soup or some of that turtle cooked up, he'd slide off that creek bank quicker than that, grab that thing up before it got away. It was pretty exciting. Now, I explained to you about catching them for this reason, though. A friend of mine was out doing something else. He was graveling up under the creek bank trying to catch some fish one time. And he found a snapping turtle. And evidently, nobody had told him about how you had to get it by the tail and stay away from his head because it bit him. And somebody asked him, they said, how'd you get him to turn you loose? Did you have to cut his jaws or did it thunder? He said, we didn't have to do nothing because he thought it thundered the way I yelled. I hope if you go snapping turtle hunting, you don't get bit, because that'll make you have a much better day hunting snapping turtles.